What if things actually turn out better than we're expecting when it comes to COVID and the Delta variant, the markets, the economy, and the rest of your life? This is Tyson Ray, financial advisor at Form Wealth Advisors, where we exist to help make life better for our clients and those in our community. This is up or down for July. And for the month of July, even though there was a time in there the markets got all spooked about the Delta variant and the effects around the world, the market finished up. Okay, we need to get a little perspective here, and we got some. It's called data, it's called facts. And I want to remind you of what's happened in the last several months when it came to COVID and what happened in our markets. First of all, I want to show you a slide, and the important part of this slide is looking to the far left of the slide. And what you're going to see is we saw this huge spike in daily deaths. And we thought everyone back in March and April, everyone in America was going to die of COVID because a lot of people were dying of COVID. They happened to also be dying of all kinds of other complications. They had multiple factors to their death, but a common thread was COVID. And so we didn't know what this was going to be like. And frankly, I think in history is going to show, I think we panicked. Why? Because the market sold off in the middle of February and into March, and yet markets started recovering when the deaths reached their peak. And the markets were almost in full-blown recovery throughout the rest of the year when the actual COVID crisis happened over the holiday season. And yet everybody seemed to still have a Merry Christmas, and the markets delivered great returns for 2020. So why was that? Well, the real lesson is that COVID was an unknown. We didn't know. And so in markets not liking uncertainty, the markets sold off not knowing what the effect of COVID was going to be. And as more information came out and as we realized we weren't going to all die from this, the markets adjusted and came back. Though we were left still dealing with COVID, which was a serious issue. And now the concern is this Delta variant. But here's the difference. It's not an unknown. Oh, we may not know what its effect is going to be, but we know a lot more about COVID than we did in 2020, in February and March of 2020. And so what we know, a couple things about the Delta variant, is though it is more contagious, it isn't nearly as deadly. And according to the public health coming out of England, and they actually have much higher Delta variant numbers than we do, the death rate is almost nothing compared to the original COVID that we were dealing with. And so where a lot more people may get affected by the Delta variant, the fact that our hospitals are not overwhelmed tells me that these markets are just going to look past this Delta variant, because that's seemingly what they're doing. And what are they looking at, and why do I have optimism for going forward? Why do I think things can improve going forward? Is because the earnings of the companies that you own when you make an investment in the markets, you participate in the ownership of these companies, collectively they make money. And the money they make selling products in this economy, even with all the concerns of COVID and the Delta variant and supply chains and all the bad news that can be out there, they're continuing to make more money. And in fact, the projection is to continue to do better, not only going into the rest of this year, but also in 2022. And unless those expectations change, unless the predictions of the companies themselves change, because they're giving us this data to basically say, hey, we think things are going to get better. So the facts are things look better. And so we're going to stay invested and encourage those of you to do the same and not get caught up in headlines that I think are distracting you from fundamentals and the truth. Here at Form Wealth, we seek to bring perspective to the markets and investments that are based on facts, because we believe one of our jobs is to help bring perspective, which is what these up and downs are about, because perspective, especially around facts, help us make better decisions. And if you'd like to have a conversation about the perspective that we just shared, why don't you reach out and give us a call. So again, this is Tyson Ray, financial advisor at Form Wealth Advisors, where we exist to help make life better for our clients and those in our community. Until next month.